roll it in flour, fry it in a pan, let it finish cooking in the oven, and it's perfect. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is get your grease hot. And I've already got some flour here. I'm using all-purpose. And you can season the flour, or you can wait until the chicken pieces get into the skillet, and then you can season there. So we'll go ahead and roll it in flour. And then all I'm gonna do is brown the outside, because I finished my chicken in the oven. And you don't want to overcrowd your pan. You want everything to be kind of evenly brown on the outside. Okay, and I'm going to sprinkle with some seasoned salt and some pepper. And I don't like to cover it because it makes it sweat, so it makes it too wet, if that makes sense. And I'm trying to crisp it up on the outside. Okay, so I think I got 8 pieces here. Yeah. These are actually leg quarters, and I cut them or sectioned them to where I could have individual pieces instead of like a whole quarter. So what I did was I rolled them in flour. It could be all-purpose or self-rising. I used all-purpose this time. I seasoned, salted, and peppered them in the pan after my grease was hot. What I do now, I just brown the outside so they're still raw on the inside. You cannot eat them like this. It's not safe. So after you have browned them in the skillet, you put them over in a baking dish, a greased baking dish. And usually what I'll do, hopefully this will not break. I usually don't. I pour my grease that I cooked them in over the top. Not all of it, but just a little bit. Okay. This is going to go in the oven at 425. It can be a little bit higher, but you just need to keep an eye on it. It's going to be covered. Okay. So we're going to get that in the oven. And then when I'm all done, I'll take it out and let you see what it looks like. Okay, so for the next part of our meal, we are going to have Hashbrown Casserole. This is a little bit different than the typical one I make. It's got a little bit more extra in it, but it doesn't have the crackers at the end. You can probably always add the crackers at the end if you wanted to. Just make sure you do about 2 cups worth and about 1/4 cup of melted margarine or butter. And you can do that. But this doesn't have crackers, so let's go ahead and get started. You're gonna need a 32-ounce bag of hash browns. These are not the 32-ounce. They're a little bit less than that. This is probably because these are shredded, and the other ones are like the little square type. You could use either one. And I'm not gonna adjust the potatoes or anything because of that. I'm just gonna go with what I have. Let's see. First thing, we need to go ahead and put the onion in. And it's a 1/2 cup of chopped. And we need our soups. can of cream and celery. And a can of cream chicken. Making sure I get all of it out because we're going to need it. Every last drop, so make sure you get all of it out of the can. The next thing will be sour cream and melted butter. Half a cup of sour cream. And just needed a couple tablespoons of melted butter. It wasn't completely melted, but it's softened, so it should combine fine. Let's make sure we get all that out too. Alright, now I need to stir all this up, and then we'll add the cheese. And it's not going to be perfect because these potatoes are frozen still. But I always found that the shredded actually, it just coats better with the shredded than the other one's kind of like not loose, if that makes sense. And this doesn't have to be perfect either. So just do the best you can about combining it. Because typically what I do while it cooks, sometimes I'll reach in there and kind of stir it a little bit. Alright, so all of it's combined except for like 2 big old chunks of potato that are kind of stuck together, so it should be fine. And now, the recipe says 1 cup plus a half cup grated of cheddar cheese. So you need 1 cup to go in the potatoes and a half a cup reserved. So, put the 1 cup in there. That, and then I'll have to add to this. I have a little bit more here. We can add for half a cup. Sprinkle on top. Okay, and I think that's everything. Yep. So you need to grease your baking dish. Hang on just a second, I'll move it. Grease that. You need a big one. Sure you stir your cheese in. Now, the cheese that you reserved, you take it out of the oven when you get down to the last 10 minutes of cooking time, and that's when you sprinkle that on. You do not sprinkle it on before you put it in the oven. You don't do that. You wait. So let's get this in here. You'll bake it for 50 minutes. Take it out for the last 10. Add the last part of the cheddar, put it back in for 10 minutes to melt it. Don't let it burn. Alright, I'll be showing you what it looks like when it gets done. Okay, so as you can see, the chicken is finished and it is perfection. So I used to always have trouble making fried chicken. Even though I'm from the South, I had problems with it. So this was how I finally figured out the best way to do it. Roll it in flour, fry it in a pan, let it finish cooking in the oven, and it's perfect. Some people let it finish cooking in the oven and put it on really high temp. It's like a 500, but I just kind of slow cook it with it covered in the oven on about 425 or so, 400, 425. It's no exact science, just until it's done. And this is really like tender. It's coming right off the bone. And that's it. That's how you do it. Real simple. All right, now I gotta get the potatoes out of the oven so you can see how those turned out too. Okay, so here is the hash brown casserole. It's all done. I had already taken it out, stirred it up a little bit, make sure everything was good and combined before I put on that last remaining bit of cheddar. And what you could do at that time, if you wanted to, or you could have done it, you know, right before you put it in the oven, salt and pepper it a little bit, not tons, because you have a lot of sodium that's in the cream soups. But salt and pepper it, put paprika on it. If you want a little bit of onion powder, garlic powder, something like that, that would be a good time to do it. But that's it. Take it out when the cheese is melted on top and it's all bubbly. Okay, so if you want to see more content like this, if you could just like and subscribe.